There were allegations of my cheating. Oh,
Bad-
get out. Let the listeners decide. I think it's unbelievably underwhelming.
I am going to do this to you, Becky. I'm so sorry.
Hey y'all, it's LJ here, owner and founder of Smart Moms Plan Disney and Smart Moms Travel. We are so glad you're here for another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Now, here's your host, Allie.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to a very fun, very special, very exciting episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. I am so looking forward to today because here on the podcast, we are drafting Disney once again. It's the Smart Moms Plan Disney Fantasyland draft. We did this once at the end of season 1. We drafted our favorites from Magic Kingdom. We're back again today. I'm here with Stacy and Becki.
Hey.
Hello. I feel like we need an intro that's like ESPN. Da da da. Da, da.
Yes.
What's really going to be great about today is, number one, we are drafting my favorite park. We're drafting EPCOT. We have some really fun, exciting categories that we're going to be drafting in. But besides all of that, Stacy and Becki and I are massive football fans. The three of us, we have a group thread that goes all the time during football season. We don't root for the same teams at all. But when our guys are playing, we are always texting. So to refresh everyone, if you missed our Fantasyland Magic Kingdom episode or you need to remember how this is going to work, this actually has nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
Today, we're just using the idea of drafting Fantasyland style to really dig deeper, have better, more in-depth conversations about different topics that maybe we've already covered on the show. Today is going to be EPCOT, and we are going to be drafting one ride from within the park, one country from within World Showcase, one sit-down restaurant, one quick service restaurant, one festival, one drink, a show or theater experience, and a wild card selection. So we will all pick from those categories. Once something from EPCOT is already selected, it will be off the board. You cannot pick it again. And just as we did with Magic Kingdom, we will be doing this draft what we call snake style. So it'll be the first person, second person, third person, and then reverse order. Third person, second person, first person. And we just keep going that way, keep it as fair and fun as possible. And let's get competitive.
Oh, yeah. And it is funny because the last time we did this, LJ and Carla were both like, well, I don't really know sports and I don't know. I'm like, this is going to be so different. But
Yeah.
look, if you're listening and you don't know sports, it's okay. We got you. We're just follow along for the ride. It'll be fine.
Basically, we're going to build what we think is the better park and hope that our favorites don't get taken before we have the chance to grab them. Inevitably, some of them will be. Do you all have a strategy? Did you brush up on your EPCOT? Did you really break down all of the options? Do you know where you want to go? Do you have something coveted in mind? Don't give anything away, but.
Oh, yeah. I have my plan all drafted out right here in front of me and I'm ready to go.
I may or may not have put hours of research into this. Just like I would do for like a fantasy football draft. I have to know which is I'm taking in, just dependent on which position I get to draft in. So
yeah, this is going to be great. It was really fun coming up with the categories that we were going to draft in for EPCOT. It's such a unique park, right? So we get to do some really fun things. We'll, of course, talk more about what those are as we draft through them. I feel like it's important to say two things. Number one, y'all voted, listeners voted on the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast Instagram after the Magic Kingdom Fantasyland draft. I not only won, I dominated Carla and LJ, wiped them off the board completely. It was so fun. So we hope that you'll join us back on our Instagram. We're going to be starting right away with voting for which of us wins each round that we draft, and then our ultimate winner of the EPCOT draft. So that should be super fun. Make sure you're following so that you can be part of that selection.
Yes, this will be a lot of fun.
Magic Kingdom will be your one and only win in the fantasy draft, Ellie.
You're cocky. You're cocky early. So before we got on here, we jumped on a quick Zoom. Becki, Stacy, and I, we selected the order. There were allegations of my cheating when calling the order in the last draft. And so we just wanted to start by making sure that we all saw it. We did the spinny wheel. I was the first name selected, so I will be drafting in position 1. Stacy will be drafting in position 2, and Becki will be drafting in position 3. So that is going to be our order for the day. I am ready to build my EPCOT. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. I know what I'm going to be angry if you take. Let's dive in. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So I am thrilled that I got first selection because I know exactly what I'm drafting. There's literally only one thing. I think all of these categories that we're going to be drafting today have a lot of good options. This category has one clear best option. So I'm going to go ahead and take my ride. I'm taking Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's the best. It's the best ride in Orlando.
Well, we knew it. We knew this was where you were going. Whoever was going first, we knew this was the first pick for anybody.
I'm actually shocked that you did not take Mission Space. Shocked, Allie, shocked.
I'm leaving that one on the board for you. Whoever was going for this is the only right first pick. Like, this is where you have to go.
It's not, though. Guardians is correct, but if I had first pick, Guardians would have gone to wild card for me.
Well, that's funny. They would never have made it there. Somebody would have taken it. Somebody would have taken it before you. But this ride, if you haven't ridden Cosmic Rewind, we've talked about it a bit on this show. First of all, it is so fun. It is something as soon as you get on, I'm just like giggling. The second I sit down, you're going up that hill. Whoever I'm with, I'm so excited. And then, spoiler alert, you go into that room, you're kind of circling around the big monster guy. Your car turns backwards and boom. You get to hear your song. I think I've had there are 7 different tracks. I think I've had every one by now. The most iconic, the one everybody seems to love the most, is September, and I've had it twice. It is a blast. It's so fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there are, like I said, 7 different songs that can play. You don't know which one you're going to get until, that moment that I was just explaining. It's just a thrill. My twins got to ride it for the first time on a recent trip that we took, so my whole family can do it together. And it's great. It's one of a kind, nothing like it. It's the best of the best.
Totally agree. Good pick.
I feel good about it. So I've got Guardians, and Stacy, that means you're up.
All right. And that would have definitely been my first. So I did agree with that. I'm really shocked with Becki saying that. But I am going to also go with a ride as my first choice. And I'm going to go Soarin'. We usually have that as our rope drop ride as our family. It's usually the very first trip to kick off our entire vacation. We often do EPCOT on the first day. And it is just the ride that makes me kind of get tears in my eyes. Like, here we are. We have started our Disney trip. And it's an amazing ride. It is really fun. It is very family friendly for everyone to enjoy. And it's just nostalgic at this point, and I just love it very, very much. And I won't speak harshly of the other option I had for a ride choice, but there were some negatives in there that made me not want to pick it. We can talk about that later, but that's why I'm going to go ahead and grab it and say Soarin'.
Stacy, are you pulling off of emotion, or do you think you're playing more to the broad audience?
It's both. It's both. I think it's a good choice that I don't think I was afraid somebody might take it, so I wanted to go ahead and grab it in the ride category. But I definitely think it is also a very broad, appealing choice as well.
That's fair. I love it.
Yeah, I love Soarin'. It's great. I will say I absolutely will be drafting true to me. I'm going to draft the things I love. I'm going to hope that our listeners agree with me. Soarin' is a great ride. It's so much fun. I actually cry when I ride Soarin'.
I do as well. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah. All right. Becki, that takes us to you.
Okay. Well, before I draft my number 3 and number 4 picks, I'm going to defend myself on why I say Guardians. I would have taken Guardians number 1, but I would have placed it in my wild card because we know Guardians is hands down going to win in the ride category.
Yeah,
so
that's fair enough.
For that purpose, I would have pulled it out of rides so that the other 3 rides have any kind of chance of winning. But I'm going to go ahead and take with my 3rd pick. We're going to go with the Food and Wine Festival. I think that it is something that is unique to EPCOT. It is something that people go there for. Especially, we recently had an episode that was talking about adults only trips, and I think it is the perfect festival for adult only trips. So for that purpose, the food, the wine, the entertainment, all of it is magical food and wine festival.
It's food and wine. It's exclusive to Epcot unless you also count California Adventure at Disneyland.
Ooh, so good. So good to point that out as well. It's a tough one though, because there's another festival that is right there at the top that was really hard to decide.
I'm shocked you took
I
food and
am a
wine.
little bit as well, but it works in my favor, so that's okay.
And yes, I will be true to me as well. Food and Wine Festival was actually the very first festival I ever experienced at Epcot, and it's what made me fall in love with Epcot before we were regulars at the park. And so I
Food and
think it
wine
is.
it's the longest festival, so
Mhm.
that's going to run like summer to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I have a hard time like with some of the things, July, August feel a little odd.
Yes, this is
When
true.
you're trying to do something that spans half a year almost.
I look at it as they've expanded it to almost be half a year because the demand is there for almost half a year. And so for that purpose, I know that there are other festivals that are high on my list as well as other people's lists, but supply and demand tells me something about where the demand is and where the amount of love for something is, if you will.
Yeah, good pick. All right.
All right. My next one, I'm going to go to another category, strategy, and take Connections Eatery as my next. It is everything that you want in a quick service. Fresh food, delicious food, brightly lit, a Starbucks right there. You can sit around tables and decompress with your family. There's places to charge your phone. Everything about Connections is what makes it the number one quick service.
I'm so glad you picked that.
It's an excellent choice. It was definitely in my list of considerations, but this is all going well so far.
Yeah, Connections is good. It's over in the new area, sort of by Guardians, by all the space stuff, Space 220, Space Mission Space, things like that. And it is offering, just like you said, the fresher selections, things like that.
And that French bistro burger is banging.
Their salad. Oh my gosh, their salad.
No, I haven't had it. The salad.
You're missing out. It's probably why you're thinking of a different restaurant, but the one you're going to choose does not have everything that Connections has. So,
okay, well, fair enough. All right, Stacy, you're up.
All right, well then I will go back to the festival. Sorry, Allie. Am getting the International Festival of Arts, lovingly known as IFART. And I believe that it is not only a family favorite of ours, but it will also reach the masses. So it does go through February. It's like January, February. Does it go into March very much?
No, it's only 6
I think
weeks.
it's just February, right?
Yep.
And so our family often does our largest family gatherings in February at Disney. And so it's really one of our favorites. It has been for years with when the kids were younger. They don't often enjoy the offerings of a festival except this one. This one really is they love the murals they get to paint. The chalk drawings are really cool to look at. It's just our favorite by far. The food is great and fun, and the entertainment is really, really fun. Like they have some really great acts that they'll do, particularly when they do them. And then they would do in that what's the building called over there that they'll do kind of in that Joffrey's in between.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't. There's a name for that building. I can't remember. But when it's in there, it's particularly nice because it's cool as well. I haven't liked it when they've done outdoor entertainment as much, but when it's indoor, it's really, really fantastic. And then I really enjoy the booths that they have with the artists' work and getting to watch the artists' work, speak to them about their artwork, and it's really fun. So it's a wide range of reasons that I like it. Food, entertainment, and just I think it's a fantastic festival.
I wish I could say that it was overrated because I don't want you to win, but it is amazing. Like Allie and I share this love of live performing arts, and the Broadway musical concert series that they put on during the art festival, like seriously, is everything.
Yes. In
Yeah,
fact,
the Broadway shows and you just kind of getting to become part of the art around World Showcase. And even before you enter World Showcase, it's really colorful, vibrant, fun. The thing about Festival of the Arts is it's hard to get to. It's short-lived. It's in the middle of the school year at a time where, you're coming up on spring break. Maybe you're not pulling kids out of school yet. Or you just came back from winter break, so maybe you're not pulling them out of school. So I think it's a harder festival to get to because of those things. Which is too bad because, the arts are always kind of
that's a
getting,
really good point. It's probably some of why we like it so much is as homeschoolers, we're able to go during that February.
yeah.
And yeah, the crowd size is a little good.
Well,
It's
and
good for us.
the weather that time of year. Oh,
Yes,
it's the
it
best.
is. It is.
Yeah.
It's just all around such a great time.
I mean, the art festival is terrible. Nobody should vote for the art festival.
Hey, hey.
Okay, that is going to bring it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of ways I could go here. A lot of areas I could draft, and a lot of things that I want to snag that I don't want other people to take. I think I'm going to go to wild card. I'm going to I want to draft Spaceship Earth, the actual
Mm-hmm.
Epcot ball, the big golf ball, the monument that defines Epcot. It's not the castle, right? We've talked about that on the show before. It's not, do I like it more than the castle? Probably not. But do I love it almost as much? Does it mean a lot? It's usually the first thing we see when we drive onto property. There's, every Disney property around the world has a castle. There's only one Epcot ball. So it defines so much about that park. The park is what it is with Spaceship Earth. Like I said, that I lovingly nicknamed the golf ball when I was younger, as many kids I'm sure have.
Yep.
And on an Epcot episode, I want Spaceship Earth. I want the globe. I want the ball. I want it in my lineup here.
Is the
You
ride
know,
at all pulling to you or only just the visual of Spaceship Earth?
Yeah, the ride is hilarious. It's like the history of writing. It's slow and it's a little and communication, I should say.
yeah.
Funnily enough, when my oldest daughter was younger, she used to say that the ride inside Spaceship Earth was her favorite ride at any park, which is just hilarious because I don't think anybody else has ever said that. Um, that is not what's pulling me to pick it, although of course we have experienced that. I just really want Spaceship Earth. I remember it with, Mickey on top, the big 2000 with the Mickey hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the beautiful colors that they added to it for the 50th to make it one of the colorful things that lit up during that celebration. Those are still there. It's just really it's special and it's unique and it's something I think when you're going to Disney World that you're expecting and excited to see. So in an Epcot episode, I want it.
Well, and back in my day, it was also my favorite ride because it was one of only about three rides that they had. But and it really is, and hearing all both of you and all of the things you're choosing and saying about all this, it's just reaffirming that I really love Epcot.
It's
And
the best.
unless one of you picks Mission Space, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's a great choice for everything you say. Just no
You'll be
Mission
so
Space, okay?
disappointed by my ride choice.
No. Oh gosh, we definitely have a chance of winning this, Allie. Either one of us. Um, okay, so you have another pick, right, Allie?
No,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I do. I get another pick. Okay. So I've got my wild card and I've got my ride. I feel really good about them. And I want to go now to country. I think I am going to go ahead and draft my favorite country in World Showcase, which is France.
Ah, I knew
I
it.
I love France. There's so much to see and explore in the France Pavilion. First of all, it's right off of the international entrance, which I love. Take the Skyliner in or stay at Boardwalk, Beach Club, Yacht Club, those resorts. Walk right in, boom, you're in France. It has Ratatouille, which, hello, brand new, amazing attraction in Epcot. It has the Creperie restaurant, amazing. The ice cream parlor there is so, so delicious. You can get like a warm brioche sandwich with your gelato is actually what it is, which is lovely and wonderful. The alcoholic drinks there, champagne flights, things like that. It's just a wonderful place to be. I love the little shops, the music that's playing, the views. I think most of the countries have beautiful views, but I do love sitting there right under the Skyliner and, right by the bridge that'll take you over into the London Pavilion, England, and also the water. So I think it's just perfect. I love it. And I'm so happy that I have it.
You that's an excellent choice. and it really affects how I go next. Because I was leaning towards choosing my country next as well, so I could grab France. But since that is out, I may switch up the strategy a hair and go ahead and do my quick service so that I can grab the quick service in France. This is a real test of my high school friend. I never like having to say this, but I do know the rules. I just have a very thick Southern accent. L'artisan de glace. We're gonna say that is what the quick service is called.
Okay.
And it is the ice cream shop in France, and that is going to be my quick service choice. You can get really awesome things there, but the number one thing, and I think it's a little controversial whether people like this or not. A lot of people order it. I will say that the croque glacé, which is the sandwich of ice cream.
That's what
And
I was just talking about.
I know, and that's my favorite thing for this shop. This is why I picked this. Or just getting ice cream. Or you can get an ice cream martini, or you can get the cafe glacé, which is a cappuccino with ice cream. So like it's delish. And the line is always very long. It
Yeah.
may turn someone away to see it, but it does move much faster than you would think. So it is worth it, and that's going to be my quick service choice.
I have waited in that ice cream line, that gelato line, longer than some attractions.
Seriously.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Seriously.
yeah, that is. I'm so glad you picked that because now my quick service is still safe that I really wanted to take, so I'm excited. But that ice cream shop is really wonderful. It's one of the reasons I love the France Pavilion as a whole.
Yep, this is my way of getting a little slice of France in mine.
Okay, all right. Becki, that's you.
I guess that takes me to, do I do a sit down next? Or a show or a drink? There's so many good things.
I know.
Oh, but I get two. So let's go with my sit down is going to be next. And it is a remarkable experience that everyone should do at least one time, and that is Space 220.
Interesting.
Have either of you been to Space 220?
So I have been, and I agree everybody should try it. It was a one and done, I think, for me though. I think because it's prefix and it's so expensive, and the drinks were. I mean, this is your pick. I'll let you talk about it. I loved the drinks.
That melting when they put the cotton candy in the drink and then they come and pour it over while you're looking out over astronauts floating outside of the window. You're taking a quick elevator ride that's going to take you 220 miles up above EPCOT to wander through what feels like outer space. It is immersive, and yes, it is definitely costly, but the experience is something you're not going to get at any other sit-down restaurant in EPCOT.
Yeah, the drinks are delicious, and I did have that cotton candy one you were talking about just now. And normally sweet drinks aren't really my go-to, but that one was really fun. My wife and I actually did a date night there, and then rode Guardians twice in a row. Like we did Space 220 dinner, and then had a virtual queue and an individual Lightning Lane for Guardians back to back, and it was just a really fun time, all back to back. But I just don't like. If I'm planning my family's meals, Space 220 is just not going on every time that we go.
Definitely not something that's going to show up every time if you're a repeat. However, we've done it as a family of 5 twice, and both times my kids loved the food, which sometimes it's hard to get them to eat everything. They loved the experience, and we're talking teenagers. So for me, like, yes, it's expensive, but it is a no-brainer. Everybody should experience it.
All right, Becki's going to have another pick. We all have 3 picks right now. So before Becki dives in with her next pick, we are going to take a quick break, and we come back, we'll keep drafting. Hey, Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast listeners. Have you joined our online communities yet? You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast, where we're connecting daily with listeners, answering questions, and sharing our favorite Disney memories. Joining one of our communities, especially on Facebook, is like pulling up your own chair and joining the conversation yourself. Why let Tuesday be the only day you hear from us? Come join us to continue episode conversations, or maybe even tell us if you disagree with something we've said. We're planning trips, offering tips, and ready for you to pull up your chair. So follow the links in our show notes and join us at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast on Facebook and on Instagram. All right, we are back and ready to keep drafting. We'll do a real quick recap, and then Becki's going to be up with her next pick. So far, I have in Ride, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. In Country or Pavilion, I have the France Pavilion. And in Wild Card, I drafted Spaceship Earth. Stacy has drafted Soarin' for her ride, Festival of the Arts for a festival, and the fancy ice cream shop that I cannot pronounce in France for her quick service. And Becki has drafted the Food and Wine Festival for her festival, Space 220 for her sit-down meal, and Connections Cafe and Eatery for her quick service. The ball is in her court. She gets another pick to start us off here. Where are you going?
I'm trying to be strategic over where I think you are all going next. And I think I'm going to choose to go drink, and I'm going to choose the sangria flight in Morocco.
Oof. Good one. Except I don't like white. I don't like white sangria and that.
That was one of my questions. I thought for sure one of you guys were going to give me a hard time. I had to choose
I don't
what
like
I was going to
white.
do.
Yeah.
We went and I tried it for the very first time. That's not been my favorite drink in Epcot for very long, but I didn't realize you could get a sangria flight for two and get two different types. We tried both types. I actually really loved both of them. And it's funny how some people like white, some people like red, and we were split. I chose the white over the red. Sean chose the red. And so it was a perfect drink. It's affordable to get a drink for two people for a reasonable amount of money, and it's delicious. Morocco is beautiful. Like there's nowhere, I don't think there's anywhere more beautiful to sit and just enjoy a drink than in the Morocco Pavilion.
Yeah, I do not like the white sangria. That is not for me.
It's okay. Your taste buds are broken. It's okay. It's okay, Allie.
I'll talk a little bit more about my opinion of drinks momentarily, but if we're good to move on, I will tell you my next choice.
Yep.
Think I'm going to go ahead and grab my country. However, I think I'm safe with it, but just in case, because honestly, I'm since France is out, I'm feeling pretty even Steven on this second choice here, this second option here. But I'm going to go with Norway. We've got Frozen there, but I am one of those who says, "Long live Maelstrom." We loved Maelstrom back in the day. It was such a funny ride, kind of corny and with the fun little surprise in the ride, and we just would laugh and have the best time. So, and Frozen, of course, is very sweet, and we like that as well. But what other things I really like about it, it's just a great area. The aesthetic over there is really pretty, really the dark wood and it's just the carvings. It's a really nice area. And then I really love the Kringla Bakery. I think that's a really nice addition, a nice little place to get some sweets and some snacks. And then it's got another restaurant name that I struggle to say, Akershus.
Yeah.
That is an awesome option over there with the princesses. So I think that's just a great area, and I want to grab Norway.
Do you like Viking coffee, Stacy?
That's going to be discussed in my drinks.
Oh, interesting.
If we can just when that area comes up over there, let's just put a hold on that.
I think of the two, personally, I think that Stacy, you got the better of those two pavilions out of France and Norway. I mean,
get out. Let the listeners decide.
Add to that Anna and Elsa in the pavilion. Like, it's hard to argue with Norway.
Princesses. You can be Belle and Sleeping Beauty over in France. Get out of here.
I know, and I say the princesses, which, that's part of the ongoing internet argument, is that they are not actually Disney princesses. Do you know that argument? Have you heard this argument that said that they're not official princesses because they did not start out as, I don't know what the argument is, but it's ridiculous.
Are you talking about Anna and Elsa?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think they ever had like an official coronation at Disney World.
Yeah, there's some online arguments about how I think, and it may be even official Disney canon, that they are not princesses, but
they're both queens by the end of the
exactly.
They're both queens, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, they are my favorite, but France is still the superior pavilion. So you yourself were disappointed that you didn't get it. So
it's true. No,
congrats
I
on Norway.
I acknowledge, but hey, I'll take Becki's props. Hey, fans, please listen to what Becki has to say. Thank you.
All right, I think that's gonna bring it to me. I've had some time to think here. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to have two picks here. So first, I'm going to take in show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding my breath. What are you going to take?
Well, this, you might be surprised, but I'm going to go ahead and take Epcot Forever.
Oh.
The fireworks show that's currently running, listeners, people that are regulars with Disney will know that Harmonious has just ended with the end of the 50th a few months back. That fireworks show was spectacular beyond compare. They've replaced it temporarily as they reimagine what's going to happen at Epcot, but they have Epcot Forever currently there at Epcot. And although it's not, it's not Happily Ever After or Harmonious for that matter, but it is still Disney fireworks. A Disney fireworks show over a body of water in a setting that is naturally beautiful with World Showcase behind, in the background if you're standing on that side toward the entrance of the park, or just looking at Spaceship Earth if you're standing around World Showcase. World Showcase is going to light up. The fireworks, the music, the experience, it's all still Disney. So is it the best show that ever existed on Disney property? Certainly not. Is it still Disney quality? Is it still fireworks, which listeners by this point know that I love? Yes. Is it still worth seeing? Absolutely. So I'm going Epcot Forever fireworks show there in the water at Epcot.
I cannot believe you blew your show pick, Ellie. Oh. I'm so happy you chose that.
I think Becki is sweating a little bit with her picks because she keeps trying to talk down to mine. But like last time, Carla really tried to trash talk me, and I swept the floor with her.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
Okay, so one, right? I feel good about having Epcot Forever because if I get fireworks, I feel great about it. So I do feel good about that. Let's see, I get another pick, and there are so many good things about Epcot that you could really go with. I think the next thing that makes the most sense for me is to take my sit-down meal, and Becki has Space 220. And Epcot itself is just one of the greatest parks to eat in. I mean, it can't go wrong. I think, though, I have to pick Stanangal Inn, which is in the Mexico Pavilion. I'm going with this because the Mexico Pavilion is really popular among most people, and I really wanted to make sure I love all of the food in Epcot. I wanted to make sure I got a restaurant that was in World Showcase because I think one of the things that's best about Epcot is the authentic food in each of the pavilions. Mexican food is by far just one of my favorite flavors. I love almost all Mexican food. I love going in. It's inside the pyramid, right? So just going in the pyramid to eat is super special. The indoor outdoor type vibe, it kind of is decorated to make you feel like you're outside in the evening, which is really lovely. There's a ride, the Caballeros goes kind of through while you're eating, which is really fun, and take your kids to ride it while you're waiting on the food. That's always really nice. And the food and drinks are delicious. So obviously margaritas, if that's what you love. I usually will just get honestly a glass of wine, and it's fantastic. So I'm super happy to have Mexican cuisine for my sit down.
I am not disappointed with your choice because you are right. That is a good restaurant, but I'm a little offended that you're saying that Space 220 is not authentic food. I think it is clearly authentic out of outer space food.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I was in elementary school, we had some astronauts come and feed us authentic space food.
Astronaut
freeze-dried food.
Foil envelope. Is that what you had?
Yeah, it's the little little cubes of food that was supposed to be, steak or something.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
You better hope for Disney's sake that they're not serving authentic space food at Space 220.
Okay. But you're right. Good choice.
All right, I feel good about that. Stacy, that's gonna be you.
Okay. The strategy is shifting. I'm really off my game here with what I had planned out, but I'm still feeling good about it. I think I'm going to go for my wild card, and I'm going to grab a performance, an entertainment offering that I didn't want to put in my show because I have another one I think I could grab that's pretty fun. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this as a wild card. And it is a seasonal offering. And it is.
Are you going to do this to me, Stacy?
I am going to do this to you, Becki. I'm so sorry, but you can talk it up for me again if you'd like. But it's Candlelight Processional. Is that what you wanted? I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
Okay. Candlelight Processional, which I know you have a very close attachment to, and I would like for you to share that with everyone. I think it's been mentioned before, but you should also share your family connection to it. But to me, it is really just the most special time. It is what really, particularly as someone who loves the Bible story of Christmas. I really, really love this show. It is also where it's very fun that a pretty big time celebrity will come in and is reading the Christmas story. And then there are musicians that are absolutely incredible. The vocals, the song choices are just top notch, stirring, emotional, powerful music, and it is just one of my favorite events of the year. I just adore it with
For
all of my heart.
for listeners that don't know, the candlelight processional happens, and Stacy kind of mentioned it is seasonal, and she mentioned what happens, but it's an offering at the Festival of the Holidays at EPCOT. So that pavilion there, in the American Pavilion, that stage sort of rotates and changes what's happening per festival. And that's sort of what it's used for during the Festival of the Holidays. And it is usually, I mean, Josh Gad was there last year, and Jodie Benson has been there, who's the original voice of Ariel. So you do get some really good like Disney celebrities as part of that processional.
Yeah, very cool. And Becki, you have a daughter who has performed in that musical.
Yes, and so that's who's backing up, right? They have the EPCOT singers, they have a celebrity come in and tell the story of Christmas, but then they also bring in local talent. And so my oldest daughter, who's going to be a senior this year, so I'm a little emotional about this situation.
Yeah, Stacy did you dirty.
She did.
Hey, I'm a senior this year as well, so don't give me that.
So my daughter Macy got to perform in the candlelight procession last year, and we're hoping maybe she'll get to it again this year, but it is a remarkable show that everyone should see. However, I think it's better in Disneyland. So
I didn't even know they had it in Disneyland.
They do, and it is phenomenal.
Oh, awesome.
Imagine those candle lights that they're holding, filling the entire street, walking down like a parade down Main Street in Disneyland. Oh, amazing.
That's going to be your pick then, Becki.
No, we're not drafting Disneyland. Oh, are you saying
No.
my pick to choose?
It's
I thought you were saying I was taking candlelight procession at Disneyland. Okay, so I have two, and I still need a ride, a country, a show, and a wild card. So I think I'm going to take a show, and I'm going to take the Eat to the Beat show. That is also a seasonal show. This runs during the Food and Wine Festival, and it is headliners that are true to adult theming, meaning if we're like millennials, Gen X, we're going to be the older crowd that likes most of these because they're not like current people, but people like Hanson performs there. I know that Boys to Men is performing there when we're all there later this fall. Really, really looking forward to that. So having these headliners come and perform mini concerts in the middle of the EPCOT World Showcase, it's just a really, really great addition to your trip.
It's funny. No, it's like not something your kids are going to want to go. It's perfect for a girls' trip. Like, I can't wait to go see Boys to Men with all of you.
Uh-huh.
Because
I just saw the Commodores and it was so fun.
Yeah, it's hilarious because my daughters, my son, they don't care about Boys to Men, but seeing it with all of you, it's gonna be great.
It's a little painful though because 98 Degrees came and it's like, are 98 Degrees oldies now? Like,
yeah, but yeah, like not even a little bit, Becki. Like they're for sure oldies.
Yeah.
Straight to the heart.
They're from Cincinnati.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Eat to the Beat. Good pick. You get one more.
One more. We're going to go. We have. Let's go with wild card. I'm gonna pull Remy's for my wild card.
Really good pick.
Remy's is in a okay pavilion. No, it's in an amazing pavilion. The France Pavilion really is so beautiful. In fact, it might be one of the most beautiful of them. With going into the ride, seeing the Eiffel Tower towering up above it. It's a 3D ride, so there is some hesitancy with some people on it, but it is really, really amazing. And I actually got to ride this ride for the first time in France at Disneyland Paris, and they did a copy paste of the ride in Paris. And I love that the ride is half in French and half in English. I love that you get to smell the baguettes as they're baking them in the ride and just feel like you are shrinking down to Remy size and running through an adventure.
Yeah, it's a good one. Fun ride. It's definitely it's a great addition to EPCOT because anytime people say that EPCOT is not for kids, I love to be like, well, Remy is there. And, for a couple other things are there that we haven't talked about yet on the show, but it's a great addition just to Epcot in general for sort of battling that idea that the park is not good for kids, because that is just, that's the sort of thing that gets under my skin.
Yep.
Well, I heard it's really cute, but it is a screen ride, and the moment it started for me, I had to look away. So I haven't actually seen it. I have ridden it, but I haven't seen it.
Is it the 3D glasses that get to you, Stacy? Because you love Soarin', and that's a screen ride as well.
You're right. You're right. And it is interesting that it makes a difference, but I think it's because it's in 3D and it's more movement for the rider versus the Soarin' is relatively still. It's not quite so much back and forth. It's a little bit of slight movement, but I think it doesn't really I don't know. I can't really explain the science of it. I just know that Soarin' doesn't bother me and Remy makes me want to throw up.
Okay, well, Stacy, then that's going to be to you.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go with the show as well, and I'm going to pick a performance that is there year round, relatively year round. I know they do take some breaks from time to time, but they're in the England UK pavilion, and it's Command Performance. And they're just a fun little band that performs multiple times a day in the garden back there, that's really in the little shrub maze area. They're fantastic. They play British rock from the 60s to the 90s, and there are a couple of benches and curbs that you can sit down on and just enjoy the music, and everybody sings along, and it is just a blast. So I pick Command Performance.
I've never even heard of that.
Me neither.
What?
No.
What in the world?
I'm like dying over here because you're like, everybody's singing along, and I'm thinking,
Yes.
I'm envisioning
Oh
singing
my
along.
word. That is so shocking to me.
No,
That
I've
is
never
really shocking.
I've
Okay,
never
well, you
seen
have
it.
to look them up. They're performing probably right now at 6 o'clock.
Are you there?
in
Are you
Epcot.
Command Performance's #1 fan?
She might be there.
No, they're definitely there. Oh, I promise you, there are older women than I that love them more. I promise.
So it's like
I've seen it with
definitely
my own eyes.
it's like definitely a demographic that's their groupies.
That's probably, yeah, that's probably, and it's probably why neither of you are quite as familiar as I. But they're super fantastic talent, and I'm just real impressed by them. My husband and I both enjoy listening to them, and we just go like, how are they not touring? Because they're so good. They're very good musicians.
Do they play their own music or like covers?
Oh, it's covers. It's all covers, but they're just really talented. Like they'll have their little drum solos and their little guitar solos, and you're just like, wow, these are top-notch musicians.
Allie, are you surprised she found something that we have never done in Epcot?
A little,
I am
but
surprised.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you did the Epcot episode with me, Becki. People know, like, I skip a lot at Epcot.
You're like
That's crazy.
straight for the drinks.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could even disagree with that, but I can't. I have my priorities when I'm at Epcot, and if you fit into the priority and like I can still get to you, great, but if not, it's just not going to happen. Okay, which is good because that's going to segue me into picking my next thing here. I'm going to draft a drink, and I have two that I love equally, and I know none of them are in danger because I don't think Stacy likes either of them, and Becki, you already picked the Sangria Flight. So I just really have to go with which one I like more. And I think I'm going to go with the Moonshine Sour in the American Pavilion. It is halfway through World Showcase, pretty much regardless of which way you start. Came in through the international entrance, or if you turned left to Mexico or right to Canada. The American Pavilion kind of meets right there in the middle. Has all of those picnic tables. You can kind of hear the music from that pavilion where we were talking about. That's where Eat to the Beat happens and the processional, things like that. But this drink itself, the Moonshine Sour that you get sort of back there at a walk-up bar window, it is so good. It is a perfect balance, especially for a midday sort of pick me up. It's going to be refreshing. I tend to get a glass of wine in Italy and France. And so having that wedged in the middle and having something just different, yeah, it's great. It's light, but still heavy enough, and just delicious. It's a good time. It's easy to grab, sit at those tables, or just walk with. And I love that drink. I get it every time we go to Epcot. So I'm thrilled to have the Moonshine Sour. It's great.
It's one I haven't tried yet. Which bar did you say you're getting it from?
Right there. Yeah, it's in the American Pavilion. I forget the actual name of the bar, but it's a walk-up window sort of right in front of the barbecue quick service.
Oh, okay. I need to
Yeah.
try that next time.
Yeah, it's really great. And it's sitting the atmosphere where you're going to drink it is also part of what makes it just when you have a drink, you want somewhere great to sit and drink it. And it's like
Absolutely.
I love some other things that I was thinking of taking, but I have visions of myself getting these things and I'm like, oh, where do I sit to have this? But that one, it's just kind of a whole package. It's a good environment, it's good ambiance, good drink, it's good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I feel
Okay.
so I feel good about that. Okay, it's going to be me again. I have one more pick before we move on to Stacy, but before that, we are going to take our last break, and we'll finish up our drafts here when we come back.
Hey, hold up. Looking for the ultimate Disney and Universal experience? What about vacations on both the West and East Coasts? Look no further, it's Kristany, one of your podcast co-hosts that'll take you along on my coast-to-coast adventures like never before. Come follow along on Instagram at the Polyjuice Princess, your go-to source for all things Disney and Universal. From the iconic castle at Disney to the thrilling rides at Universal Studios, I've got you covered. Shoot me a DM with the word podcast to receive exclusive content for my followers. See you real soon.
Hey, it's Becki from Smart Moms Podcast. So you keep hearing this word, Disney bounding, but maybe you don't know quite what it means. Or maybe you're already a Disney bounder and love showcasing your Disney fandom in the parks. Either way, come join us on Facebook at the Disney Bounding Community by Smart Moms Travel. We play games, plan outfits, do giveaways and challenges, and support each other in adding just a little bit of pixie dust to both your Disney vacations as well as your day-to-day. Find the link in the show notes, and I hope to see you soon in the Disney Bounding Community Facebook group.
All right, we are back. We are ready to finish. We all have 2 categories left to draft in. We were just saying before we came back here from the break, we're kind of shocked at some of the things that we're picking, which is what makes these drafts so fun. Gives a really unique perspective of what people are loving about each park and why, and sort of just breaking down the offerings of the parks, because there's so many different ways to enjoy a place like EPCOT. So left here to draft, I have a festival and a quick service restaurant. Stacy has a sit-down service and a drink, and Becki has a ride and a country. I think I know where y'all are going with some of these picks, but it'll be fun to see if I'm right.
Yeah.
So you have all picked your quick service and your festival. So it really doesn't matter which way I go in here. I think I am going to go ahead and just draft my quick service restaurant. I'm going to stick with the same pavilion I picked for my sit down and do La Hacienda de San Angal. This is by far one of my favorite quick service restaurants on all of Disney property, not just Epcot. So this is going to be right across from the Pyramid restaurant that I picked for my sit down, but it's going to be the quick service, the walk-up window. You can grab street style Mexican food and sit right over the water. There's plenty of room, which can be a problem in Epcot. Once this is kind of what I was talking about with your drink. Once you get your quick service food, where are you taking it? Plenty of space to sit and eat. All 3 of my kids have napped in that little area, and we always sit down, have the best food and drinks, street style Mexican margaritas, other delicious mixed drinks from Mexico. Right there on the entrance to World Showcase, if you're going left to Mexico first. It's the most perfect quick service restaurant that there is. I love it. I'm so happy that it was there. I'm so happy to have it. I will always stop there. So La Hacienda.
Good food. Good choice.
Yep, that sounds good. Again, I just have to say, all of this, I'm like, yeah, it's Epcot. That's great. I agree.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what listeners resonate with most because, I mean, there is nothing wrong with Epcot.
That's right. That's what this basically boils down to.
Other than the things that we're leaving off the board, which we'll talk about. Okay. Stacy, it is your turn. You have 2 categories remaining.
Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and do my drink. And as I was mentioning earlier you asked about Viking coffee, and the drinks category is a little tough for me. I'm not really what you would call a drinker. So I've not experienced either one that you have mentioned, but this one I can say, all right, Christoph Cafe, I assume is how it is pronounced, and Viking coffee are the same drink. One alcoholic, one non-alcoholic. So I'm going to choose that because the Christoph Cafe, or however it's pronounced, it's Kaffe, is the non-alcoholic version, and I know it is absolutely delicious. It is a frozen coffee drink with coffee chocolate sauce with a coffee chocolate crunch. It's like these little cocoa pebbles crunched up on the top, and it is absolutely delicious. So I will pick the Christoph Calf / Viking coffee as my drink.
You sound like a 12-year-old ordering Starbucks.
That may be what it is.
Chocolate frap. You go through Starbucks with a 12-year-old and they want like a chocolate frap.
Yep. Yes. Oh, that's what I get at Starbucks. I can't help it.
I'm sure you do.
I love a coffee drink that is basically a dessert.
I have never
chocolate in it.
I did not even know they had a non-alcoholic version of Viking coffee.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, well there you go. The more you know. All right, Becki, this is going to be you closing out your draft. You have 2 categories to take your final picks.
I feel fantastic about the 2 things I'm getting because for ride, I'm getting Frozen Ever After, which how could you not be so excited to be having the Frozen story be told with the music and the amazing animatronics and everything that is amazing about the Frozen story. And Marshmallow. Oh, I love Marshmallow.
I don't love this ride. I got to be honest. I think I love the part where Elsa sings "Let It Go." Like that little moment. That little moment is cute.
Yeah.
And I love the big marshmallow guy because my son does. Like he is so excited when we get on that ride. Any sort of monster is going to be it for him. And so I love how much he loves it. But I think that ride is incredibly underwhelming. Frozen is one of the biggest things to happen to Disney in ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let It Go was a phenomenon and is one of the best Disney songs ever to be released. I love Frozen. Specifically, I love Frozen 2. And Elsa is by far my favorite Disney character just in general. I was just really disappointed. I thought it was a little, here we have a boat ride with audio animatronics and it's not really that different from a lot of our other rides. You know, when we have the capability to create something like Remy, like Ratatouille. And I kind of am surprised that they just kind of reimagined a boat ride that was already there, retold the story in the way that they do other, rides like in Magic Kingdom, let's say, and called it Frozen. I just think it doesn't do such a phenomenon justice.
Well, I think it's a super cute ride. I enjoy it. I like to get it in on every trip. But what I will not do is go through that standby line. That is the most cramped, dark, hot feeling like you're in the sauna.
Yeah.
You are. I really just I can't do it. I cannot do it. So if I'm able to do, which I will do, the lightning lane, then it is fantastic because you just zip right on through there. But the standby queue is not great.
It is the ride that nobody skips, though. It is the ride that
I skip it.
Your son has to take. You have to go on it with your son.
Well, and if honestly, my kids are there, my kids don't skip it. So I ride with them, but I go a lot without my kids, and I just will 0% chance I'm riding that when my kids aren't there.
That's fair on an adult trip. However, maybe there's something about the boys loving it because Sean absolutely loves it. My husband loves the Frozen ride. It's one of his favorite, obviously not more than Guardians, but if he was choosing Frozen or Soarin', he would choose Frozen.
Interesting.
I just think it's I'm just disappointed in what I know Disney can produce and Frozen being what it is to the Disney brand. I just think it's that if that's all we're getting in Disney World is that's the only Frozen we're getting, I think it's unbelievably underwhelming.
It's definitely not the only Frozen we're getting because we're getting the amazing Frozen show that is leaps and bounds better than the ride in Hollywood Studios, but we need a Frozen castle somewhere.
Yeah, and I love that show at Hollywood Studios, but even still, it's not, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. But it's okay, good. Frozen. You got Frozen.
Frozen it is. And I think Frozen is a solid ride. In fact, that line is always forever long. It sells out with individual lightning lane. It is a solid choice. But
that's because it's Frozen. That's what I'm saying. Like people think it's going to be one thing and it's just a boat tour. It's a boat tour of the, whatever.
This is true.
All right.
And ultimately it ultimately does it even have any kind of chance against Guardians? Yeah. Probably not so much. So
it shouldn't. Yeah.
It should not. Okay. Country is the only thing I have left. And for all of the amazing reasons that Allie just explained why she chose the table service and the quick service in this pavilion is exactly why Mexico is the best pavilion to have on my draft board. You get amazing food. You get this tall, beautiful pyramid. You get to meet Donald, all dressed up, who is one of the most fun interactive characters you'll meet in all of the World Showcase. There is the boat ride that is super reminiscent for me and anybody who's ever gone on like a Mexican cruise or gone on Mexico to visit Mexico. It definitely pulls all of those emotional feelings of having been somewhere else.
You are grasping
it's remarkable.
If the Three Caballeros is being called remarkable and one of the reasons you're drafting Mexico, I feel like we're reaching.
Well, we shall see. We shall
the
see.
Caballeros.
And did I say margaritas?
You didn't. You said remarkable caballeros before margaritas.
Yes, those margaritas are why people choose to start to the left.
Correct. It is. Yes. That is why. 100%. But not you. You're going for the remarkable caballeros.
I do not go there for the margaritas. Sean likes the margaritas, but tequila's not my thing. But the views to watch when, like, I don't want to say Epcot Forever because it's Epcot Forever, but when Harmonious was there or Illuminations was there, sitting at those restaurants that you can get waterfront seating and watch from that section in the Mexico Pavilion, it's phenomenal. Even the bridge that's going over to watch the show from that bridge heading towards Mexico is a great place to catch that nighttime show.
Yeah. I think we have all agreed that we like something about Mexico. For any Smart Moms travel agents listening today, we're actually going to go ahead and make the Hidden Mickey World Showcase. We're doing all about Epcot, all about the pavilions. We've all picked our pavilion: Mexico, Norway, France. We left so many on the board, but okay. Stacy, you are up to complete your board here.
Isn't that fun? We're here at the end. I have my sit-down restaurant as my last choice. And I'll be honest, this was easy to say. I'm going to just wait and do it last because I don't have super strong affections towards really any sit-down meals at Epcot because I so enjoy the grazing aspect of Epcot. I enjoy being able, particularly when there's a festival, being able to go to all the different booths, and that's my meal majority of the time. So I don't really have, like I said, I don't have a big affection. However, we do have a family favorite that we have done since the children were very small. And so I will go with Garden Grill. It is an awesome little character dining experience. You've got your Mickey and you've got Chip and Dale and Goofy.
Pluto.
I believe. Pluto. I was like, yeah, Goofy doesn't sound right. Pluto. And it's just really, it's a fun meal. It is family style. Food is pretty good. I will not say that it's my favorite food that I've had, but it is doable and the kids are happy with it. And it has the unique setup where the restaurant is rotating. So that's kind of cool for the kids to go, oh, we're going around we're going around and around. So so it's good. And so I have an affection for it. Is it going to be a fan favorite? I'm not sure. But if you want to have a character meal that's with the classic characters, Garden Grill is the way to go. It's usually pretty easy to get a reservation with it. Even like walk up, I don't usually see a huge crowd waiting for it. And I think it's a pretty solid choice. I'm happy that I'm stuck with it here at the end.
I can't believe I'm the only person that picked a sit-down meal from in World Showcase. Like all that international food.
That is a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, okay, so let's talk about a couple of things. I only have one pick left here. It's going to be my festival choice. So before I do, a couple of the things that are surprising that we didn't talk about or select here in our draft. I'm the only one that picked a meal within World Showcase. So we left places like Via Napoli and
Tepanito in Japan.
Yeah, Hibachi, the French restaurant, all of that.
Even the Canadian Steakhouse is an amazing restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many good restaurants.
Test Track, not taken.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you the reason I didn't. That was one of my choices that I considered, but it's down so dang
broken.
much.
Yes,
there's one little lightning bolt in the whole state of Florida, and they're like, "Oh, we got to shut it down."
Yeah.
So
it's not my favorite.
Yeah, I enjoy it very, very much, but that was what kept it from being my choice.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we got most of the most of the stuff that I would have expected outside of that. Okay, so that's going to be my festival. There's only 4, 2 are gone, but that's good because my 2 favorites my 2 tied favorites, one of them is not selected, and that's going to be the Flower and Garden Festival. I'm happy to have it. Here's why. Food and Wine Festival is kind of represented in every festival. Like there are food and cocktail booths in every single festival. But when you have something like Flower and Garden, you're getting another element. So all of the topiaries, Epcot just breathes new life with all of these topiaries. There are so amazing. In France, my favorite pavilion, you have big Beast and Belle made out of flowers and different greenery. And there's an Anna and Elsa in Norway. They're all over. The 7 dwarves last year were made out of, flowers. And the characters are just all over the park. The displays are absolutely beautiful. They smell great. The food selections are so, so, so good. The street corn, right when you walk in, there are 2 types of street corn. They had it this year. The honey bistro, so good. There's an avocado toast and shrimp and grits like for breakfast, which is so great with a sort of a spiked coffee of some sort. So I love the Flower and Garden Festival. It's one we get to go to pretty much every year. I usually have a girls trip in the spring as well as a family trip in the spring. So I usually hit that festival twice, whereas Festival of the Arts, which would be my other favorite, I have only been to once, and it's just, like I said, harder to get to. So I think Flower and Garden just is my favorite, and I'm happy to have it. But
it is another great choice.
It really is. I think the thing that the Flower and Garden Festival is missing for me, though, is it doesn't like I love the draw of the live performers, and the Flower and Garden just feels more like walking around looking at flowers.
Well, they have the garden rocks.
They do have garden rocks. Yep, they do.
So I think it checks all the boxes. So I like it.
That's a good choice.
All right. So just to recap here, we have drafted Epcot in the ride category. Becki has taken Frozen. Stacy has taken Soarin', and I have Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. In festival, Stacy has the International Festival of the Arts. Becki has the Food and Wine Festival, and I have the Flower and Garden Festival. In country pavilion, Stacy has Norway, Becki has Mexico, and I have France. In sit-down restaurant, Stacy has Garden Grill, Becki has Space 220, and I have the Sanangal Inn. Quick service, Stacy has the Fancy Ice Cream Shop. Becki has Connections Eatery and Cafe, and I have La Hacienda de Sanangal. In drink, Stacy has taken the Christophe Cafe. Becki has the Sangria Flight, preferably white, in Morocco, and I have the Moonshine Sour from the American Pavilion. In show or theater experience, Stacy has the Command Performance. Becki has Eat to the Beat, and I have Epcot Forever, the fireworks show. And in Wildcard, Stacy has taken the Candlelight Processional. Becki has taken Remy Ratatouille Adventure, and I have Spaceship Earth, the Icon. So I feel good about mine. Do y'all feel good about yours? Did you get what you wanted?
I'm very happy with mine. This is great.
Other than Guardians, how dare you take that number 1 overall?
Guardians was so clearly the overall pick. I'm also super happy with my country. I really, really love France. I'm just so happy when I'm in France, just with a slushie. That's one thing that wasn't taken is those those lemon slushies in France are so good.
They are amazing. And I actually am surprised that I didn't end up with the UK pavilion because it really is my favorite pavilion to just go and spend time there. Like
you just didn't draft true to you.
I was doing both. I love Mexico. Clearly, I told you how phenomenal it is.
Yeah.
No, but the UK pavilion in France, coming in that international gateway, there's just something about both of those 2 pavilions that you walk in back there. Like, I love them both.
Yeah. All right. This is exciting. I can't wait to hear. If you are listening, make sure that you are following us on Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast on Instagram so that you can be part of the vote and help us choose who drafted the best Epcot. Until then, that's going to do it for us here on the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. As always, if you are looking at planning, or ready to start planning your next trip, and you don't already have a Smart Moms travel agent helping you for free, be sure to check out the link in our bio or our show notes. Get connected to a podcast host. We would love to help you. It's what we do. We're passionate about it. We can make sure you have the best experience absolutely possible. Be sure that you are following, liking, subscribing everywhere you get your podcasts and on social media at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast. Join us on our Facebook, in our community, every Wednesday for the Happily Ever After show, where we will dive deeper. We're going to talk about the draft results, see who won, defend the one that maybe won overall, or fight it out once more. Let us know what your picks are in each of these categories, if you thought we did a good job or what you would have done differently. Until next time, we'll see you real soon.